So today's agenda is that David Bonasek, our CEO, will start to talk about Elvaco's vision and mission. Then Christopher Bonasek, product manager, will talk about NB-IoT technology in brief. Thereafter, Christopher will continue to talk about our solutions within narrowband IoT. After the meeting, we will hold a Q&A session. We have unmuted all the participants, so you're not able to speak during this webinar. So please write your questions in the chat, and we will answer as many questions as possible after this webinar. Thank you very much, and I hand over to David.
So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much, Niklas. So my name is David Nashik. I'm the CEO of Elvaco AB. I've been in the company for 20 years. I have a background within product development, so I'm just going to give you a short introduction of Elvaco AB before we head into our main topic for today with NB-IoT and with Christopher. So we started up the business in 1980, early 1980s, and we actually provided our first energy efficiency solutions already in 1986. So it has been a while, and a lot of things have changed, and we have evolved. But I would say that the core of Elvaco is the same. We provide technology to improve resource usage. So buildings are responsible for 40% of the energy consumption in the EU today. And I'm really happy of being part of that journey for actually doing something good. We are doing baby steps within sustainability, but we are focusing on three main three of the main global goals of sustainability within UN. We have number 7, which is affordable and clean energy. We have number 9, which is industry, innovation, and infrastructure. And we have goal number 12, which is responsible consumption and production. So I think these are the areas where we can do a change together with you. As you all know, it has popped up a lot of new technologies lately, and we have a lot of new applications within industry, society, retail, and those kind of segments. We believe that deep knowledge within the vertical that you're working in is the most important part to give some value to the customer. So we are focusing within buildings and utilities. Just to give you a short introduction to our portfolio, we have our sensors, indoor and outdoor sensors, with wireless MBUS, NB-IoT, wireless MBUS, LoRaWAN, and also wired MBUS. We have our meter connectivity modules, where we work closely with the leading meter manufacturers. We have connectivity solutions for LoRaWAN, NB-IoT, LTE, and so on. We also have our infrastructure part, where we have gateways and routers for collecting and routing meter data. And on top of that, we have our Elvaco Evo, our cloud services. So we have approximately 10 people working with our services today. We are reaching soon 500,000 devices in our cloud platform. So it's a growing business for us. And just to give you some sum up here, we have been in the business for over, or let's say soon 40 years. One major event, I would say, was when we sold the company to Investment AB Latour. The family-owned company was sold to Investment AB Latour, which is a long-term stable investment company, which creates a really good foundation for us to continue our growth, and also providing top technology in the segments that we are working in. So we have, since 2014, we have established our subsidiary Elvaco GmbH. We have also local presence in UK and Spain. We still have our headquarters in Kungsbacka, Sweden. We are approximately 60 employees. We have highest credit rating. We also believe that standardized solutions are the best way to go. So we are a member of the OMS Group and LoRa Alliance. I'm also participating in defining the OMS over LoRaWAN at the moment. So we are very involved in that. So we are putting in a lot of investment in product development, and we continue to put in a lot of time and money in that. And today we're going to look into what we have succeeded what we have succeeded in the last 2-3 years within NB-IoT. So I will hand over to Christopher soon, and if you have any questions, please raise your hands during the Q&A session. So thank you and good to see you all.
Yes, hello. My name is Christopher Nashik. I have almost as long presence in Elvaco as David. Have been involved in sales project, and now I am in product management and responsible for our connectivity modules especially. That is my background. I'm also very happy to see that the attendees here are many that I met before, also live, and also a lot of new people who are interested in to see what we're going to present here. The first section that I'm going to present is a technology brief about the NB-IoT as a technology. Of course, you can go much deeper than I will do, but hopefully I will bring up the most, let's say, interesting and topics that need to take into consideration when developing and deploying an NB-IoT product and solution. So what is NB-IoT? It is a technology based and developed by the 3GPP. It's an organization which also includes like 4G, LTE, 2G, and it's an LPWAN technology. It means low power wide area network. And it is meant to be a complement into other cellular technology for energy efficiency, have a good range and deep indoor penetration. The downside is that it has a low bandwidth and you can just transmit limited amount of data over NB-IoT. And what is also nice to use this licensed frequency spectrum is that you have a company, a provider that are responsible to providing SLA that you are happy with, but also that you don't need any manual registration on the network because this is handled by the SIM card. The drawback is that you cannot build your own network. You're dependent on the operator that there is an NB-IoT network available for your products. When we go in a little bit about the tech details about the NB-IoT as a technology, there are bands, frequencies, and penetration and power to take into consideration. When we talk about the different bands in Europe, there are, let's say, a couple of bands available, but the NB-IoT technology has a definition of bands that covers other regions on geographical like Asia, America, and so on. When we're talking about the penetration and power in comparison with LoRaWAN, which we will discuss in another webinar, I think next week, LoRaWAN is adapting the data rate to have the deeper penetration. The NB-IoT technology is increasing the repetition of the transmitted payload to actually have a deeper penetration or more successful communication. And this is described with 3 different levels. It's called CU0, 1, and 2, or ECL 0, 1, and 2. And this is the most important, let's say, definition of in what kind of way the communication is handled depending on power consumption. So very important. If we talk about the NB-IoT architecture, as you know, we are developing the devices on the left here, which means the connectivity devices that are inside the heat meters or external devices connecting other M-bus devices. Then the operator are, let's say, responsible for building up the infrastructure based on base stations and the NB-IoT backbone. We are then pushing the communication or payload to, let's say, the application or servers on the right side here. So this is the layout of the NB-IoT architecture. And also when we're talking about where this LPWAN technology NB-IoT is positioned compared to other technologies, we can see that we have slightly higher data rate than LoRaWAN, but approximately the same type of penetration. So I would say LoRaWAN and NB-IoT are competitive technologies when we talk about penetration and also battery consumption. Other technologies like 4G LTE, of course, they are more power consuming but have much higher data rate. And what you might hear that some devices are having a higher higher data rate. Never mind, I moved to the next slide. When we talk about the two-way communication about NB-IoT, it's handled in different ways. If you have a mains power device, you can have a NB-IoT device that are continuously accepting requests for, let's say, momentary readouts and so on. But if you have a battery operated device, this would actually consume too much power. Then you need to apply different kind of standards within the NB-IoT network, which is power saving mode or extended discontinuous repetitions. So it looks almost in the power saving mode like an LoRaWAN device, that when you're sending a payload, then for a short time you're accepting a request for momentary readout or other request to the device. Okay, what are the limitations within the NB-IoT? First of all, it's the amount of data that are allowed in the network. Here it's up to the network operator and the data plan or the agreement you have with the operator, how much data you're allowed to consume. Also, they can actually define the number of transmissions in the network, the frequency, how often you're allowed to communicate. And also, depending on the EC level, which I presented before, it actually affects the battery consumption of the device. So you need to have that as a restriction when we talk about sending the amount of data and also the interval of sending data if you have a battery operated device. One very important thing is that the NB-IoT network is best communicating using the UDP protocol. Here we have seen where there are devices communicating over Cat-M, which is another technology, with NB-IoT back as a second way of communicating, and commuting TCP/IP over Cat-M, which has higher data rate possibility, and then using the same way of communicating over NB-IoT over TCP, and that can actually result in the congestion of the network. So the last point here, that the network operator can define or forbid behavior that do not comply with the rules of the network. And this is more and more common, that the network operator like Vodafone, Deutsche Telekom, Orange or Telia has let's say white papers or rules about how an NB-IoT device can or should act over the network. This we will see much more in the future. When should you use NB-IoT? When is it a good solution? And what we are saying here at Elvaco is that we're technology agnostic. That means that we don't, let's say, prefer NB-IoT. We use this way of communication when it's a good way, or let's say it's suitable for the project. A good thing is that you utilize the existing infrastructure of the operator. It's already there. That means that you have a low entry level of getting the project up and starting. And it's also very easy to get the immediate, let's say, feedback that your product are working. It's scalable. So the operator can adapt to the number of devices in field by increasing the number of communication slots available in the network. It's also a standardized way of communication for the 3GPP organization standard. It's also support mains or battery powered. And what is very important, that it's supporting time-stamped values in a very good way. There is actually a very nice network time available from the NB-IoT network that is very, let's say, power. You don't consume so much power using this way of getting the really accurate time. When we talk about scheduled delivery, it's that if you want to have a value delivered at 12 o'clock each night, it is possible, but the main, let's say, function of doing communication over the NB-IoT network is to randomize connections. So here is a little bit limitation about that. And of course, hourly value is not a problem. And of course, higher granularity is possible. Also, when we are talking about this standard way of communication, you can have a very high security and a standard security available. And of course, you can do downlink commands. And what is really nice is that you have the possibility to remotely update the firmware of the devices in field. So now I'm going to go into a section where I discuss how Elvaco has taken this technology into real products and solutions that we have deployed now for more than 2.5 years, actually. And I would say that in the startup phase 2.5 years ago, we knew, let's say, less than we know today. So it has been a learning curve, and some of our customers have been with us here, and we are very happy for that. Together with the telco operator and utilities, we have reached a state where we can actually deploy really high volume density projects with our NB-IoT solution battery. So yes, this is a overview of our connectivity modules. We work with the leading meter manufacturer, and we try to have all possibility for the utility to choose between, like say, LoRaWAN and NB-IoT, and choose between the meter manufacturer. And what is really nice that we have the same platform for NB-IoT or LoRaWAN. So if you have used, let's say, a CMI 6110 for Landers&Gyr UH50, it will look very or almost exactly similar as an NB-IoT device for a Diehl, Kamstrup or Itron meter. So you will have the same integration when we talk about device management. We'll have the same integration when we talk about payload delivery, and it's exactly the same over LoRaWAN connected devices. Our goal is to release 1 to 3 or actually 4 meter connectivity modules per year. To make it a little bit clear and simple, and also very important to understand that the whole chain from production to data management, it's very important. It's not just a PCB or a module that is delivered from Elvaco. We take care and also have in mind the whole chain, the whole logistic process, the whole integration process when we develop and support our customers with the products. So we have production, we have the logistic part, we have the commissioning part, device management part, and data management part, which I will present a little bit more in detail here. If we go at production part, first of all products from Elvaco have an individual full product testing. And when we talk about the connectivity modules, especially, there are a lot of security involved in also production, but also in commissioning and handling the products. These security keys are created in production. And we have a special solution at Elvaco that we have on board each product. We have a security chip where these keys are generated and securely stored, that they cannot be retrieved locally by any means. And it's also important that the Elvaco production system that is used in the production chain is a cloud-based system where no data is locally stored at the electronic supplier. So everything is handled in a secure cloud. And of course, we have a yearly audit at our production system, and they are ISO certified as well. In the supply chain, we have seen since 1995 that the connectivity, let's say supplying a product that is plug and play, that when you take it in directly into the in operations in field, should have connectivity already in place, means that you have the SIM card mounted. We have already cooperates with the largest connectivity providers in Europe, so we can at a product delivery already have connectivity inside the product. So it can be mounted in a meter with SIM card or eSIM inside, and so it's full plug and play when the technician in the field would like to start up the meter. We have, of course, full traceability of all the security related information. And what is very important that we can apply custom specific settings in the logistic process. So different customer, different utilities want the product to behave differently, and these settings can be done in the logistic process. So everything is set up before it reaches the field installer. To our choice of security, when we talk about our NB-IoT platform, is that we have chosen DTLS. And it's a standardized security solution. And we have divided up the application in different parts. So we have a security key for each part. We have MQTTS and a lightweight M2M, and also what we call product access key and bootstrap key. These are different ways to handle the product, and the full meaning of having each key for each of these functionality is that you might want to use the product for payload delivery to one service provider, and you want another provider to do the device management. In this way, you can distribute the unique key for device management to that service provider and payload delivery key to another provider. So you can have a secure chain. And what is really, really good at our KMS system at Elvaco in our logistic process has an M2M API with a secure authentication. So there is no need for any manual. And this is the page to distribute Excel file or CSV file with security information. Of course, it is available, but we are moving in a direction where it's not needed anymore. So it's to have a really end-to-end secure solution. And what is really nice that some large AMI providers already today have integrated to our KMS system over this API to have a secure delivery of security information. When we go into the commissioning part of the device, it is almost a part of the logistic process because it's already defined what the product should do and how it should be, how it should behave in field. Now it comes, how does it start up actually? And this is a choice of the customer. You can either just push a button, it will automatically connect and register to any network and any system and deploy the information that is needed. Some meters has support for automatic activation when flows through the meter. Or you can use the Elvaco app, which are today available in Android and will very, very soon be available on iPhone. That you can actually activate the product over the app. And the app is also a very good field tool to analyze how the, let's say, signal strength maybe, or the meter connectivity or time is working, and also maybe have a predefined profile that you would like to download to the device. So, and everything is done over near field communication that each product from Elvaco supports. What is also a very good thing that our devices, they have this NFC interface, and we have an open API. So we have customers who have developed their own app to access the device with their own field tool. So it's also a proof that we are looking for standardized solution, open solution, where the customer can choose how deep involved they would like to be with Elvaco or how much they would like to do by themselves. And also here in the commissioning phase, it's a full traceability of the security related information. When we talk about device management of the product, here is also the path of Elvaco when we talk about standardization. Our earlier products were very standardized using HTTP or FTP or email to deliver the payload in CSV file or raw data MBUS, but they were more of an Elvaco syntax when we talked about device management. We had our own commands to, let's say, do a momentary readout or let's say request for historical data. Now we have chosen lightweight M2M as a standard where we do device management. And it's a worldwide recognized standard, and there are many different device management systems available who are using, or let's say the lightweight is a part of that. I mentioned three of them: AV system, Ltem, Alaska IoT group, all very good. And we have all these systems are, let's say, can be used with our devices, and it doesn't need any integration or let's say add-ons for working. Lightweight is a very, very well-defined standard. And it's also used to give critical, or let's say, information about the product in field or behavior of the product. Also, we have now, we're going to release that lightweight M2M will also be a possibility for payload delivery, but I'll comment on that a little bit later. Lightweight M2M is also used, let's say, for firmware updates and also maybe change message format or storage interval and more. I would say this is a big, big step for us, Elvaco, but also for the customer to be very, let's say, they can put the service of device management to anyone that has support for lightweight M2M in their device management system. When we talk about data management, when we talk about payload delivery, let's say the data that is really important and let's say the cash register information of the meter. We are part of the OMS group and we chose very, very early in the phase that, okay, there are no standard about how the meter data should be delivered over NB-IoT, but we have both on our LoRaWAN devices and on our NB-IoT devices chosen MBUS or OMS as the key telegram protocol to deliver meter data. This means that the payload that is coming, anyone who has received or are utilizing MBUS or OMS today can utilize this information without any or very little integration work. We also have another form that we call JSON, and for battery operated devices, we added MBUS with a combination of CNML CBAR to minimize the amount of data sent over the network. And as I mentioned a little bit before, when we talk about payload delivery, we have MQTT-SM or lightweight M2M as the, let's say, the container of the payload. These are also very, very standardized protocols. And also lightweight M2M, which is recently added, makes that you only need one service to both do device management and receive data from the meter. What is important is that over MQTT-SM, we only support payload delivery of data. If you want to have of the meter data, if you want to have other information like status of network or information relating to operating the device, lightweight M2M is the way to go. If we talk about general platform about storage the meter data, all our devices store more than 1 year of hourly data in the device in the field. Of course, this can be transformed to 5 minutes data just to recalculate it. Also, we have a very sophisticated way of knowing exactly what has been sent, not sent. And there's a setting just to, would I like to have the last first or the first when we talk about recovery, when let's say a network has been out of order or for some other reasons, the data has not been retrieved by or sent by the device. The granularity of the data is that you can have 5-minute readout interval and also sending every 5 minutes. But here it needs to be, let's say, in the rules of the network operator about the availability of slots in the network. And of course, if you would like to have historical readout of data, if you store, let's say, 5 minutes and you want to, let's say, you store 5 minutes but want hourly values and sending hourly values, but you want 5 minutes, then this can be requested by lightweight M2M. And up till now, everything has been standardized. You can buy a product and everything work out of the box, and you can choose supplier of both device management and meter data management. But Elvaco is a provider of Elvaco services. This means that we can take care of device management of the device. We can collect the data, we can visualize it, and also we have standard APIs that any system can access the data in a very fast way. So this is a part of the Elvaco services, and this is the end of the chain when we talk about supplying connectivity from production to data management. And what have we learned during this 2.5 years at Elvaco when deploying NB-IoT products? First of all, your device, or let's say the NB-IoT device, is a part of an ecosystem. There are many other products that are utilizing the NB-IoT as a connectivity way, and this has driven the operator to be more strict about how to handle NB-IoT. And in the start of the let's say the era of NB-IoT, people handled NB-IoT like any other connectivity over cellular connectivity, and this resulted in congestions and so on. So this is you need to be aware of, or we actually need to be aware of this when we are providing you a solution. What is also very, very important, that a solid and well-functioning device management system is key for operating NB-IoT devices. And also, when we talk about the rollout of the project, with pre-configured devices with a clear way of activating them and have as less human interaction with the product will result in a much more seamless project. Also, when we talk about battery power devices, the easy level or coverage level has a huge reduction in battery lifetime of the device, which means that one need to have that in mind when you are deploying a battery project. I would say we have really good, let's say, experience of the reception levels in our projects. I would say maybe 5 to 10% of the devices so far are on another easy level than easy 0. So that is really good. And also we have seen that we have some operators that utilized old hardware in their platform, let's say the backbone, and that resulted in limitations in the NB-IoT network. But most of these are continuously replaced by newer, more modern, let's say, backbone and NB-IoT infrastructure. So that is something that you should be aware of. And most of all, the device that is deployed in field needs to have proper backups and not congest the network depending on what kind of operation failures that will occur in the field. What this actually means that if you have a big power outage, let's say reconnecting to no network need to be handled in a good way. If you are requesting data at the same time from all devices, this has to be, let's say, distributed in a good way. So these are the lessons that we have learned from Elvaco to actually be able to supply the market with a really nice and well operating and function device. So this is what I had to present. Hopefully it was a little bit interesting. This doesn't cover all, but we have a Q&A after this, and please contact me or any of our colleagues at Elvaco if you have more questions after this.
Great. Thank you very much, Christopher, for this interesting information and presentation, and also to you, David. I see that we have got two questions in the chat about the developer guide on lightweight M2M, and if lightweight M2M will replace the SMS commands used to configure the devices. I also see that I have sent a link. I haven't checked the link, so I hope you have the answers there. If not, please let us know in the chat, and we will answer them, of course. Or if Christopher and David has an answer direct now for everyone.
I can say directly the SMS commands on NB-IoT, there is maybe a possibility in SMS in the future, but it's not available today in the NB-IoT network, and our products do not support it. So we are totally dependent on the lightweight M2M as device management. So yes, it replaces the SMS. And it's also very important to understand that the latency, the response of, let's say, I want to know something now, it's not on a battery operated device possible to get that momentary readout, because then we are reliant on the keep alive functionality, how often it connects to the device management system to get, let's say, what should I do? So that is a big difference compared to other cellular connected devices with instantaneous feedback. And if you have a mains supplied device, it's possible to get, let's say, 10-second feedback. For a battery operated device, I would say you can set it up, but for managing, let's say, 12 or 16 years of battery lifetime, maybe once per day.
And maybe just adding that if you're on site, you can of course use NFC to configure the device as well.
Yeah, exactly. Locally, you can do all commands, let's say, momentarily with the app or over NFC.
And regarding the development, we have development guidelines for our NB-IoT. So that is, I need to verify now, but I think that we have that information available on our web. Well, we have a development guideline. Yes.
Yeah, great. So there's another question there. Will lightweight M2M work for Sumit 2100 GPRS to configure the devices?
Maybe I can answer that. Very good question. We have got requests both on MQTT and lightweight M2M on our existing products. So we are actually at the moment looking into this. I can't give you more information, but it's a hot topic. So I need to get back on that one, but we are looking into possibilities. Yes.
Great. I don't see any other questions. So if you have anything you think about later after this webinar, feel free to contact your key account manager at Elvaco, and they will help you and guide you. Here we got a new question. Will Sumit 2100 LTE work on LTE-M network?
That is not a Cat-M version, so I would say no. But we are also looking into Cat-M modules at the moment. So that is also a hot topic, not only providing NB-IoT but also Cat-M. And when we are looking into that, it will work in the same way as it does for the NB-IoT. So lightweight M2M will be the preferable way of communicating, but the CME 2100 doesn't work with the Cat-M at the moment. No.
Thank you. Yeah. So I don't see any other questions. We have 7 minutes still, but it feels like everyone are happy. So I will end the recording now.